Welcome back to Elite Dangerous, guys, and in this video I'm going to be discussing my favourite loadout for the Cobra Mark III. This was after a lot of people requested it after I did my favourite loadout for the Viper video. If you want to go see that, it's linked in the description, but basically I did say in that video that the Viper was my favourite ship, and it still is, but this one does come in a very close second. One of the main pluses to this is actually the internal compartments. You get a lot more with the Cobra Mark III, and it just offers a lot more variety as well. Also, it's a bigger ship as well. You get a much bigger power plant, so you can do a lot more with your modules as well. So that's what you just get on your base model. Now this does cost, the ship I've got it upgraded to 7.2 million credits, is that? Oh no, 7.5 million credits at the moment, and this doesn't even have everything in that you'll want to have in. So I'm just showing you like the base kind of model that I run with, and then you want to be like outfitting it for the specific task you're up to. So in the outfitting screen, I've got my hardpoints. Now, I was trying a lot of different medium hardpoints for this. Of course, the small hardpoints, beam lasers, had fixed beam lasers for both of them. They're always the best to take down shields for me. Now, if you of course prefer pulse lasers or burst lasers, go ahead with them. But for me, beam lasers fixed are always the best, and this is most fun as well. It's just fun to watch, you know, huge laser beams fire away into the galaxy. Anyway, so down the medium hardpoints, this is where it gets fun. So I tried two multi-cannons, and I did eventually get bored of them, and they are the best. I'd say still they are the best for, you know, price compared to, you know, taking down ships fast and everything. But then I tried to mix it up a little bit, and I went with the missile rack. That was this one's a heat-seeking missile rack, I believe. And after all that, I would actually say that a multi-cannon gimbal and a missile rack, a dumbfire missile rack, is the best option for those medium hardpoints. They're fun, and the dumbfire missile racks can take down any big ships that you encounter. So if you're going bounty hunting, if you just use your multi-cannon on the small ships, and then when you come across, you know, like an Asp, a Python, or an Anaconda, go ahead with your dumbfire missiles and take them down. You're gonna have to reload after probably a little bit of time, but probably every half an hour maybe, depending on how many big ships you come across. But if you just continue using your multi-cannon mainly, then the missile rack can come in handy later on, because I was finding that I was wasting a lot of ammo on the sidewinders and smaller ships, even the Mark IIIs. Really, you can get away with just using one multi-cannon and your beam lasers, and that'll do fine. So definitely the medium hardpoints can be mixed up quite a bit, but I did find dumbfire missiles and a gimbal multi-cannon to be the best, bearing in mind that right now is a heat-seeking missile. I just quickly docked to try and find a dumbfire, but I couldn't find one in like 3 starports for some reason. Anyway, utility mounts, point defense, I always prefer the point defense. It's just kind of my kind of thing, and the kill runner scanner, because I'm a bounty hunter guy. Remember, you can put in whatever you want in these two depending on what type of thing you're doing. On your internals, a military grade composite. I do need to do some testing to try and find out if these are, you know, what kind of percentage upgrade you get for these bulkheads, because it was something that I did falter on when I did, and everything you need to know about bulkheads. But definitely I'll do a little bit of research on that in the future, or if someone else would like to, then go ahead and do it. The power plant 4A, now this is where the Cobra Mark III really does excel. That 4A power plant produces 15.6 megawatts, and as you can see, I'm having trouble actually exceeding that with what I would actually like to run with in a Cobra Mark III. So really, the Cobra Mark III is fantastic for power management, as you don't really have to do any unless you're really going to fit out a lot of your internal compartments with more and more things. So thrusters 4.8, frame shift drive 4.8, it's going to get you almost 20 light years laden, and bearing in mind you're not probably going to be laden, so you're probably going to have about 21 light years normally for jump range, which is fantastic. You're going to be able to jump miles, or like miles, more like light years. Thrusters 4.8, you're going to get a nice boost speed and everything like that, and of course with your power distribute, it means you're going to stay at the boost speed a lot more often, and everything with this ship is really good, to be honest, for power management. It just allows you to have everything as A if you want it to be, apart from of course the light support and sensors. As always, guys, stick with the D variants of these. I find no need for them to be more than this, as the power usage just doesn't exceed what you actually gain from getting a better version of these. The power usage just completely drowns out anything. For instance, if you wanted to go for a 3A, and we can only get 3B here, but as you can see, the power draw just increases ever so much, and that 3A sensor is probably going to be about 1 megawatt of use. So be careful with these sensors and light support. If you do want more, go ahead and do it, but for me, 3D on both of these are perfectly fine. Fuel tank went down to an 8. You can even go down to a 4 for the fuel tank on capacity. You get a much better jump range when you actually drop your fuel tank a lot. So as you can see, I've gone down to the 8 from the 16, and as you can see, my light year jump range actually increases by 0.5 laden and a little bit more unladen. So really, dropping your fuel tank is really recommended, and especially the 8 fuel tank on a Cobra Mark 3 is still good anyway. You're still going to get a few jumps out of that, and even on a 4 you're going to get possibly 2. Lastly, we have all the internal compartments, and there is a lot of variety to choose from here. It's just a shame that we don't get a size 3 class internal compartment here, because it is difficult to choose sometimes of which ones you actually want, because for instance the shield cell bank here is a 3B, and it is kind of wasting a class 4 size here. However, I feel like a class 4 shield cell bank is quite overkill for the Cobra shields, and a class 2 shield cell bank can be quite underkill for it, or you know, not powerful enough for it. So the shield cell bank gone with a 3B. You get more ammo with the B class or B rated shield cell banks, so make sure to stick with them. The 3A comes with I think 6 and the 3B comes with 10, so you can stick 2 of these in as well if you really want to stay out for a long time while you're actually bounty hunting or doing whatever combat you are doing. So I went with a cargo rack instead though, because I don't mind coming back every hour or so, especially with me not really using shield cell banks too much either way. So I went with a 4E cargo rack, which is going to get me 16 cargo space if anybody drops anything valuable there for me. Shield cell generator, or shield generator should I say, 4A, it's just going to give you the best performance. Not as much as a Viper in shield cell or in shield generator resistance, but it's still up there as one of the best shields in the game, especially for under the price that we got it at. Cargo racks, I went with 2 of them at class 2, so that means capacity 4 on each one of them. And I also went with the fuel scoop. So generally you can go with a lot of variety here. This is going to depend on what you're actually up to with your actual combat. So if you're bounty hunting or pirateering or anything else, these are going to change a lot. I'd recommend these though. You can really stick with a lot of these unless you got your big internal compartments or even bigger utility mounts on here. Then you can really stick with the A rated internals that I'm actually showing you here, as the power usage of a Cobra Mark 3 is absolutely fantastic. Quickly though, before I go, I will just show you my actual fire group, how I've got it set up. So I've got my beam lasers on its own fire group, and then as soon as their shields are down, after I've used them on the shield, I'll switch to my other fire group. Then I can use my gimbaled multi-cannon, and if it's a bigger ship I can also use my missile rack as well as that multi-cannon, but if it's just a small ship I will stick with the multi-cannons only. And then of course in my third fire group I have the kill run scanner and shield cell bank, remembering that the shield cell bank can also be used and bound at the same time to a specific key in the menus. And that is it guys, that is how I've outfitted my Cobra Mark 3 for combat, bounty hunting, pirateering, whatever you're up to. Thank you very much for watching guys, and I will catch you all next time.